For all my sisters out there who are women of color, have you been trying to keep your hair healthy and professionally styled for the camera so that you can show up in your virtual room looking great? Well, today, but you need some expertly advice on how to make this happen, what hairstyles to use and what products to use. Well, today in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio, we're going to be talking about precisely this topic. And I am so thrilled to have an expert guest here who specifically specializes in this topic. Additionally, I'm really excited to have on a guest panelist who inspired this episode, who will get her questions answered in person. So if you want to be part of this dialogue, you're going to have to stick around to join in. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, an attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style and dressing them for success. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally on camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Hi, Virtual Nation. Here we are again on this episode 11 of Waist Up Wardrobe, where I'm so thrilled to bring you more great information so you can dominate from behind the desk. Every episode in Waist Up Wardrobe is made to build one on the other. So it's for anybody who really wants to have a super successful Zoom room, a professionally guided office that is virtual so that they can really show up professionally and dominate from behind the desk. Today's episode is very, very interesting because it is focused on how to style yourself for the camera as a woman of color. But before I delve into the topic, I just want to thank the man that's always behind the scenes, my producer, my very awesome producer, Rick Moscoso, who's back there in the studio and making all this magic technically happen. I'm also going to remind everybody that if you have any comments or any questions, please, this is an interactive conversation. We want to hear what your comments are. We want to answer all your questions. So please put those in the comments. So I wanted to first start off with, because this topic is pretty unique. So it's about hairstyling for women of color. And first, let me define who are women of color. Not only are African American women considered women of color, but also Latina, Middle Eastern women, and Asian women. They're all considered women of color. I myself am a daughter of an Egyptian father, and so I am considered a woman of color. But the truth is, I am not an expert when it comes to styling any type of hair. And so I called on the true expert, Wanata Parker, today to help us answer all these questions. So I'm going to first say that I met Wanata when I was actually trying to find a solution for my daughter's hair, because she has 3 different textures of hair in her hair. And she ended up helping me and making her life so much easier when it came to styling her hair. But allow me a little bit to brag about Wanata a little bit and talk about her background. Wanata Parker has worked in the beauty industry for over 20 years and specializes in chemical straightening of all hair types. She developed a breakthrough technique that she developed herself. It was a proprietary technique, and she applies it to various textures of hair. During her career, she has been highlighted in magazines including Marie Claire, Angelino Magazine, Launchpad, and Suede Magazine. She also styles hair for photo shoots and television makeover stories. Wanata has appeared on the Tyra Banks show, Dr. Phil's show, MTV, and Fox News. And Wanata, with her extensive experience, teaches seminars where she trains other stylists on how to be a great stylist. So welcome, Wanata, to the show as our guest expert. I also just kind of want to also introduce our other panelist, and today is kind of a unique show in that way, where not only do we have our guest expert Wanata present, but we also joining us in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio is the woman who inspired this episode, Jan Peters. Jan was is one of my in my mastermind group. Hi, Jan. How are you?
Hi, Christine.
And she is a rock star CEO, and she owns a transportation company called Higher Ground Transportation Services, Inc. And she does her fair share of virtual work. Welcome, Jan. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, no, it's really an honor because I really want to be able to offer, particularly the African American community, this really important value because we all care about our hair is our crown, right? And we all
Right.
want to like show up on camera looking our best in the professional world. So this is what Waist Up Wardrobe is all about. And Wanata was in the green room. However, we might have to sync her back in, so we'll just wait to see her. There she is.
There I am.
Hi, Wanata is our expert. She's a salon owner and hairstylist, and I did get a chance to tell everybody about your bio and brag about you a little bit, Wanata. I mean, some of the things that you've done really are incredible, and I'm so thrilled that you're here today to give us so much of your genius. I touched on a little bit on how we met, but I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit more detail. I was trying to find a solution for my daughter who has basically three textures of hair. She has curly underneath. She has in the middle. She has kind of frizzy hair, and on top it's sort of wavy. So she has these three different textures of hair, and I wanted a solution for her because she's an athlete and she's always either in the water or active, and she needs something to make her life easier. So I was introduced to Wanata, and she completely changed my daughter's life by doing her proprietary treatment on her hair. So that is how we came to know each other, Wanata. And really quickly, I know Jan, yourself, and I were talking in the green room about textures. And as I was talking about Isabel's three different textures, my daughter's textures, I would love for you to give us an idea. I know there's like a texture chart of hair. Could you give us sort of an idea of what those categories are? Because that is really an important foundation for this conversation.
Yes, in the hair texture chart, it's called the hair chart types. Mm-hmm. In the hair chart types, it goes from 1 to 4C. 1 being very straight, 4C being coily, curly. Mm. So you can have like your daughter Isabel. She has probably a 3B in her nape area, and then
right.
You see it's more kinky in the parietal ridge area. So she probably has like a 4A or a 3C, which is so 3B is more like a spiral.
I see.
Then
and it
gets more, it changes through the course of hair. So you can have, like, even with myself, I have 3 textures.
Yeah.
In my own head, like in the front of my hair tends to be more straight. In the back, right in that bridal ridge area, it's a little bit tighter curl. So it gives you like, and then I have a looser curl around the bottom. So you have all of these different curl textures. Yes.
Yeah. And go ahead, Jan.
No, I was just going to say that I'm one of those persons that has different textures of hair also. But a couple of things I was thinking was that, would you say you needed to use different products based on the section of the hair you're working on? And 2, do you think that the things that we do to our hair over the years then creates that differentiation, like, the heat or the chemical that straightens the hair, after a while, it changes the natural curl pattern of your hair. And so then you start having this hodgepodge of hair in your head.
Yes, I would say there's a lot of things that go into that. Every 7 years, our bodies and our hair goes through a change. So every 7. That's why I don't chemically treat children that haven't gone through puberty, because the hair is still baby hair. And once they go through puberty, that the hair is going to change. So every 7 years, your hair goes through change as your body chemistry does. So that can also cause you to have different textures of hair. And yes, you do have to treat certain, whatever. Most people have 2 to 3 different textures. Most everyone has 2 to 3 different textures in their hair and growth patterns. So yes, you do have to treat those sections differently to get the result that you want. So in
That's
your
very interesting.
softer curly hair, you might not need to use a lot of product. And on the coarser hair, wherever that may be for you, you're going to need to maybe use a more thicker, creamier product to get the hair to soften and to give you the look that you want to achieve.
Yeah, that is very interesting and such a great question, Jan, because I know that we were talking about that in the green room, and that it was interesting to me because I thought, I didn't realize that most people will have multiple textures in their hair. I mean, because when I experienced it with my daughter, I thought that was kind of unusual, but it's interesting. But what I want to refer to is something that Wanata said earlier too, and this is what I love about your expertise, Wanata, is that you are so you pay attention to science and you pay attention to what's safe. And when you mentioned that you never do any kind of chemical straightening to children or younger children who haven't been through puberty, that was actually something that really I appreciated as a mom of a young woman, because normally I wouldn't expect my hairstylist to tell me that, right? So that was really I was really impressed, and that's what is so great about what you do, is that you pay attention to all the detail, and I really appreciate that. With Jan, I love that now we've established the textures of hair. But Jan, when we first spoke, when we were kind of masterminding, and you said, I'd really like an episode where we can talk about how to style hair for women of color. I would love to just refer to you right now and ask you, what was that main challenge you were having? Because I know we weren't able to get to a salon, and so what was the main challenge that you were experiencing that Wanata can maybe give us some advice on?
Okay, thanks. One of the things I wanted to say also was that when we were masterminding and I was thinking about brainstorming with you about different topics, the overall thought really was to have a wide array or a wide presentation of what beauty is. So many times in our society, beauty is the standard for beauty is set through the image of white women. And so I just really, as your co-masterminder, wanted to insert that it would be a great to show that beauty comes in different forms, different colors. And so I just wanted to say again how much I appreciate you just being open to that. To answer your question, though, one of the things that was very, I don't know, I wouldn't say challenging, but different for me was that I did normally go to the beauty salon to get my hair done weekly almost, especially during the winter. In the summer, because my hair is natural and is very susceptible to the humidity, it's really a waste of time for me to get my hair straightened in the summer because I'm over 50. I'm perspiring. I have hot flashes. I'm just not going to waste the money to do that. And so I think with me and many of the sisters that, I engage with, it was like, oh my God, we can't go to the nails. We can't go to not only the nail salon, but we can't go to the hair salon until when, when is it going to be safe? And so that was a great challenge. And then once you kind of, got over that, it's like, so what am I going to do with my hair? Because I am still a professional. I'm still going to have virtual meetings. And so I just, started looking really at YouTube videos, to tell you the truth, and trying to figure out what were some of the things that I could do with my hair myself until I could get back to a salon.
Yeah, no, that, I mean, I understand that challenge because you are a professional woman, you own your own company, and you want to show up looking your best. So, Wanata, specifically, we're going to be going into talking about 2 ways to work with your hair, either, really leaving it natural or treating it. But in a response to Jan's challenge, do you have anything to really input to give her on that?
My motto is KISS.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the more intricate you get, the more confused you get. YouTube is a great platform. I use YouTube. Like if I have to do, I do. I'm just going to be honest. I
Yeah.
use YouTube. If I'm having to create a style or something, I'll go on YouTube and look it up. And I'm a visual person, so I pick it up really quickly. But I just say keep it simple. Don't get find the product that works for you. If it's um, if it's creamy products, mousse products, find a product that works for you and find styles that work. Like for my hair is natural. I cut my hair off a year ago. And what I find is I can't wash and wear my hair because I just don't like the way it looks. So either I have to do twists, 2-strand twists, braid out, or finger coils. That gives me the look that I'm happy with.
Yeah, I
Overall,
found that is if my hair is wet, it's fine. But once it dries, it's
it's
going to expand. Right. So it's like a big frizzy nightmare as far as I'm concerned. Some people, like my sister, she would say, "Oh, Jan, your hair is, fine." She loves it like that. But like Wanata said, it's really what you like, what you want. And so the braiding and untwisting really worked for me as well. And then I have friends who just decided I'm just going to cut all my hair off. I'm just going to just start over. And to them it was freeing. I have two good friends that just cut their hair off during COVID and just, found the right products, went back to their natural curl pattern and, continued to do their own hair. But I wanted to ask you about that in relationship to people doing that. There's still a process to keep your hair healthy. You can't just cut it off or just say, I'm going to go natural and not still get your ends trimmed and that kind of thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you have to maintain your hair. Like I say, hair needs love, just like everything else. You have to keep your hair trimmed. You have to have a uh, conditioning regimen, which I do and I recommend to my clients. Have a conditioning regimen at home. Get your ends trimmed. If you're going natural, and you just cut your hair off, you can go for maybe 6 months before actually get another haircut, to trim the ends or whatever. But I would say, yes, you have to have maintenance. You have to have a maintenance program. Like I'm very regimented. I'm a regimented person. So Wednesdays is my hair day. That's the day that I wash. I do an oil treatment. It takes me like to wash and condition my hair. It takes me like 45 minutes because I do an oil treatment with a bag with heat. Then I wash that. Then I use apple cider vinegar rinse. I do the apple cider vinegar rinse like once a month. That's just to get off any excess residue of products that you've used over time. It's antifungal, it's antibacterial, it's really good, and it also promotes hair growth. And I do a deep conditioning for 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes at least, but I try to go 20 minutes. And then I go into my finger coiling or whatever, because I think natural hair, you can't wet a lot because it dries the hair out. Because curly hair, even though it's curly, the hair shaft is flat, so it doesn't receive moisture. So you have to really condition it, keep it conditioned, and not wet it a lot, not put a lot of water on it. So I find that if I do like a braid out, twist out, coils, I can go for a week and not wet my hair. And I just use avocado oil or almond oil, You have to find, use oils. The hair needs oils. It gives it moisture. It gives it shine. So yes, you do have to really care for your hair.
Yeah, no, the natural products sound so interesting, and at the end of the broadcast, we're going to be inserting Wanata's, cabinet of hair products. Now, of course, everybody's different and everybody needs something different that will work for their hair. But these are tools in Wanata's cabinet that she uses, and just like the avocado oil and the various oils that you suggested. Those are just really great tools to have. And so we're going to be putting those in the comment box. What I really thought was interesting in this conversation, and actually Lacey is on and she's saying, do you rinse out the conditioning treatments, Wanata?
Yes,
okay.
You do.
Is there anything you ever leave in though?
Yeah, you have leave-in conditioners that are specifically for leave-in conditioners. If you're using a regular conditioner, I wouldn't recommend that you leave it in for more than the 10 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
You have to get a leave-in conditioner for curly hair. I either use Miss Jessie's Pillow Soft, which is a leave-in conditioner. It's awesome. And it's very lightweight. So if you have fine hair, I recommended it to a friend of mine. She's Jewish, but she has very, very fine hair. And I recommended the Miss Jessie's Pillow Soft, and she loves it. Yeah. And I also use the Kinky Curly Not Today. I love Kinky Curly Not Today.
Yeah.
It's really a good leave-in. So you want to get or you can get a leave-in spray, conditioning spray. But if you're going to leave a conditioner, it has to say leave-in conditioner.
It has to be specifically made to be left in. So Jan, do you ever use a leave-in conditioner? Have you found that to be helpful for yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Because in addition to having different textures of hair, my scalp gets really, really dry. Actually, all of my skin gets really, really dry in the winter. And so I have to use a different product in the winter that I don't need as much in the summer. So I always keep a leave-in conditioner, and I always look for conditioners that say something about moisturizing because my skin is so dry. The other thing that I love that Wanata talked about was oiling your hair. And I know that, in our community, in the African American community, we've probably gone through a progression of that from something that we used to call grease. That was really heavy, grease. Bergamot was one of the big ones that, we used years ago, to people I've been to hairstylists that wouldn't put any oil on your hair after a while. I want oil on my hair. So I've tried to find, products that are light and that are natural to oil my scalp, because again, if I don't, even after a couple days, my scalp will just flake. And it's not dandruff, it's just that my scalp is really dry. And so I appreciate you offering those products for conditioner, but do you also have suggestions for some oils that you would recommend?
I strongly recommend, and you can use this on your body. I use it every day. Avocado oil. I love avocado oil. I use it in my hair and I use it on my body. Avocado is a great moisturizing oil. If the avocado oil doesn't work, try coconut oil or almond oil.
Okay. Yeah.
I love those, and I use them all the time.
Yeah, it's those natural oils, really, everything from the earth, And this is kind of what's really interesting, too, is during this time, these last 6 months, where we're all pretty much confined to the house because of the 2020 pandemic that we experienced, and are still kind of in the middle of, but hopefully on the tail end. I think a lot of women have gone to this natural way of being, right? I mean, I know that I don't paint my nails anymore and I kind of love it. My nails are more healthy right now. We're going into more natural hairstyles. And, some people can't get lashes on anymore. So they're doing what they can, to stay natural. So these natural hairstyles it's kind of liberating. Wouldn't you say, Wanata?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's liberating, but it's also a lot of work.
Yeah, and people would not expect natural to be a lot of work, right?
It's a lot of work
Yeah.
because you have
Yeah.
to. I'm sorry. You
No, I
have
was
to
just going to
find
say
the right product. You have to find what works for your hair. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
And it's trial and error. And so, Jan, were you going to say something on that point?
I was just going to say that it is liberating in many senses, not just because, I feel it's more healthy for your hair, but it also then doesn't weigh on you to do things that may mess your hair up, like exercise. So I'm serious. I don't know how many women I've heard say they don't exercise or they don't exercise as frequently because they don't want to mess their hair up. And, like once you get it done, you don't want to sweat it out, which is another term that's used in our community. And so I think that, being natural then frees you to do the things that are healthy for you, which is to exercise on a regular basis without worrying about, messing your hair up.
Totally. And that, freedom is liberating for sure. So, and I feel like natural hair is really having a shining moment because of everything we've been talking about, right? There's so many ways to wear your hair natural. Now, I also have another daughter, and she's 13, and she has very curly hair, and she loves to just let it flow. She loves to let it go. And so I tell her, well, can you at least gather it? So if you're going to school, it's not like picking up anything or whatever. And she's like, but I love my hair this way. And I just love that she owns that. And it's gorgeous. With natural hairstyles, there's so many of them, right? And I'm just going to ask a clarifying question, Wanata. We talked a little bit in the green room about natural hair and protective hairstyles. And I think what, you clarified for me is that they kind of are the same thing. Can you just tell me a little bit about if it's true? Are they the same, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I would say yes, protective hairstyles and natural hairstyles are the same because you're either there are several things you can do. You're either braiding, like I've mentioned. You can do braids, twist outs, bantu knots. You can do a wig or weaves. Those are protective styles.
Yeah.
So protective styles is where you're not manipulating your hair a lot.
I see.
You're not overworking your hair. You're not creating a lot of breakage. Those are protective styles. So you're not manipulating your hair. You're not excessive heat. You're not using excessive heat. Those type of things.
Yeah. So it really is to preserve the health of your hair. It does really preserve the health of your hair.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And it was the whole conversation that Jan was talking about, moisturizing and keeping everything from getting dry, your scalp included. It's so important for the health of your hair and for the health of your skin. So, that's a really good point that you made, Jan. So, you mentioned a couple of styles about, for that are considered natural hairstyles, but there's so many, Wanata. There's braided updos. There's cornrow braids. There's crown braids, which I think are really, really pretty. There's curly half updos. I mean, there's so much you can do to look glamorous and not glamorous in a flashy way, but like really professional and beautifully style your hair. So now my next question really is, how does the African American woman choose the right natural hair style for her face? Do you have an opinion about that?
You can just look at your face shape.
Yep.
And, look at, what works for your face shape. There are many different face shapes, which I'll go over again briefly. You have, excuse me.
And Jan, have you actually found the most optimum natural hairstyle for yourself, as Wanata is about to answer that question? But I just wanted to refer to you on that note.
Yeah. So as you can see, I have a perfectly round face.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I have a
Oval.
high forehead. And so when I was younger, I would always cover that. For me, it was, I didn't want, this forehead. Now I just revel in it, and so I would always cover it. And so that was one of the things that was important to me as far as hairstyle was concerned. Now with natural hair, and Wanata and I, you talked about this in the green room, is that once you take away the relaxer and you feel confident that if you the thing I like about it with our hair is that we can do so many things with it.
Yeah,
Just you name some of the styles,
yeah,
but we can do so many things with our hair. If I want my hair to be straight, I can straighten it. If I want it to be curly, I can make it curly. If I want braids, I can get braids. If I wanted to cut it, and I could still do some different things with it. And so for me, I've always kind of kept length to my hair. There have been a couple times where I've shortened it, but maybe just in a bob kind of cut. But for me, I like a little length on my hair, and whether it's straight or curly or, you know, wild.
yeah. Wild.
Um, I just love the variety that comes along with what I can do with my hair. And I think that is something that's important when you're thinking about whether or not you're going to stop the chemical, which I advocate for, and then, figure out what you're going to do with your hair. But I'm sure Wanata can tell us many of her clients just hate that transition.
Yeah,
And it's almost like, am I going to go completely gray, or am I going to continue to color my hair? Because that, when you have like that much gray and the rest of your hair is red, it's like, I'm tempted to color it again, or I'm tempted to get that relaxer again. So it's that in between phase that is very, very difficult.
yeah. And that's where like maybe using a wig could help, right? I mean, that is an option where you're in a transitional phase. I mean, is that something that is practical, Wanata?
Yes, you can do a wig, you can do a weave, wig, you can do a wig, you can do a weave. Those are options, but like Jan said, a lot of women abandon ship when they're growing. They have gray and they
Yeah,
want to grow out. You got 3 inches of gray and 6 inches of colored hair.
yeah,
Um, you want to either you go, most times women go back to coloring because they just can't do it's a very painful process unless you work with your stylist and y'all gradually cut the
Mhm.
keep cutting your hair until all the till you're all gray,
yeah, yeah,
or you just say, okay, I'm going to grow it to a certain amount and then I'm just going to cut my hair off
yeah,
and wear it shorter until it grows out all gray. But
yeah,
yes, you can do a wig, you can do a weave, you can do. I mean, they have like weaves where you can't even see your natural hair. It's they put a cap on, then they weave the hair around the cap, so it's almost like a wig. You're wearing a wig,
yeah.
and that's
Well,
that's a way of doing it.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of options, right? So, and also like
So many.
accessories, like scarves can cover
Oh
for,
yeah.
Right.
for possibly
Mhm.
gray or whatnot. But we were back to the shapes of faces. And if there's anything, if you have an opinion, Wanata, about, do certain face shapes take a hairstyle in a better way? Like, is there one that suits it better?
Well, Jan has a very Jan's face shape is oval. So it's her face shape is very what do you want to call it? Um
With regard to her face shape?
word. It's it's a very workable face shape. You
Oh,
can
okay.
do just
A
about
lot.
any style with an oval face. With an oval
Yeah.
face. It's I can't even think of the word right now that I want to say, but it's very it's a very common face shape,
Yeah. So
and
it's
it works
universal,
well.
universal.
It's a universal. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. It's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
it's a universal face shape. But
Yeah.
you have, heart-shaped face, you have oval, you have square. So you want to stay away from, if you have a square face, you want to stay away from things that's going to accentuate your jawline. So
Okay.
mostly people with square face, their hair comes underneath their chin.
Mm.
So you just want to find shapes that, styles that accentuate your face shape. So, you will find things that work for you,
Yeah.
you know.
And
So I
sometimes
would
it's
say
trial and error.
sometimes it's trial and error.
Absolutely.
If you have pulling your hair back off your face. It's just that you have to embrace what you have and not
Right.
try to get in a lane that's not your lane as far as
Yeah.
your face shape is concerned. So you want to, maybe if you have, a diamond shaped face, which is your face is more pointed and angular. So you don't want to do anything that's going to close your face in, because it's just going to um accentuate you. It's like your face is in a box. So you want to keep, where your face is open. And, if you have, like I said, a square jawline or, rectangle, you want to keep the hair underneath your jawline, because you don't want anything that's going to accentuate that.
That makes a
So,
lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Jan, when Wanata said that you have sort of a universal face shape where like most styles work for you, how do you feel about that? Have you tried multiple different looks that do you think it is the case for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm over 50, so I've had a lot of different hairstyles. And in the season where people were doing asymmetric, and I have, gone natural with products to try to, bring the curl pattern to my hair. So I've had a lot of different hairstyles. I really haven't had one that I don't like. I've even, when on those lazy days, I may put my hair up in a bun. And that's
Yeah.
why, for me, that's why I keep lengthening my hair, because for me, it gives me options, which is
Right.
important. And so if I've cut my hair short enough where I couldn't get a ponytail, and I didn't like that. But my hair grows very fast, and so once it grew out, then I knew that was not the cut for me. Not necessarily because I didn't like short hair. It's just that when it's not, I'm going to say, done, or in a space where I feel like, it's pulled together so that I can feel good about it, and I want to pull it back into a ponytail and I can't, that's not good for me.
Yeah.
The other thing I was interested in asking Wanata about is that these wigs and weaves, and I've been in a salon where people have been, their hair has been devastated by wigs and weaves. They have not, I don't know, because that, if you ask me what styles have you never had yet, I've never worn a wig and I've never had a weave, but I know many, many women do. And I've also been in a salon when someone has not taken care of or come to a professional to have them take care of it, and how, it has just, taken their hair out and destroyed their edges, and just in some cases, having them lose a lot of hair. And so I would be, and I hope that the listeners would be interested to know, if you're going to choose that style, what is it that you need to do to make sure that you don't damage your hair underneath?
Great question.
that is an excellent question, because with wigs and weaves, it's a double-edged sword. And I say that, I use that term because if you're going to choose that route, if it's to grow your hair, you have to have a set goal. I'm going to wear a weave for 6 months, but you have to go to somebody, change your weave out, have them wash, condition your hair, braid it, put the weave back in. You can't just have a weave on for 4 and 5 months and never take it out because the hair, we lose hair every day, 100
Right.
strands. On average, a person loses 100 strands of hair a day. So if you're wearing a weave for 4 to 6 months and never undo it or take it out, that hair is still coming out. So it's matting in that process. So a lot of women, when they cut out their weave, I've lost so much hair. So you have to have I say with wigs and weave, you have to have a set goal, and you have to protect your edges, because the edges are the most delicate part of your hair line. And once you lose them, they very rarely do they come back. So you have to get with somebody that's an expert in wigs and weaving, and let them care for your hair. Just like you would go to get your hair done every week, you have to have a set regimen with a wig and a weave. And you have to have a set goal. If, you cut your hair off and you're growing your hair out gray, okay, I'm going to wear a wig or weave until my hair gets to a certain length. So my hair gets to chin length, or however you want it to, whatever you're going for. But I say have a set goal and come out of it. The thing about wigs and weaves is it makes you a little bit complacent, because it's so easy. You don't have, it takes the worry away from your hair, because you get a set style, that's your style, and you don't have to do anything to your hair. So a lot of women get locked in that position. But I say have a goal and come out of that, because it's nothing better than your natural hair.
Yeah. Does that help? Is that helpful, Jan?
I just know that it can be a space where you can get into and get, like Wanata said, complacent. And then, as I was searching through these YouTube channels looking for styles for myself, I also saw some of the devastation, and that's what it is really, of people who either don't know how or wait too long to get professional input on how to manage those styles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just to I just say and if that's the route you're taking, get with somebody that specializes in that, and take the same care that you would with your natural hair. Do that with your wig or your and weaves, because if you wear how men have baldness if they wear hats all the time, your scalp needs to breathe. So if your scalp is not breathing and getting air, you can get, it's called wig baldness. You can have something called wig and weave baldness, because your scalp is not getting air. It's not getting sunlight. It's not getting, moisture and all of those things. So it'll take your hair out.
Yeah.
So I say, if you're going to do it for a period of time, and then come out of that, wear your hair for a while. And if you want to go back into that, do that too. But when they get locked in and they, they have these images of what they think they should look like. And it's nothing more beautiful than what you were born with.
Absolutely. And I think that is so interesting, because, most people probably, Jan, who've, went through that process of a weave or a wig, probably didn't know that they need to prep for it and give it a break and all that. So that's really valuable information. Thank you for that, Wanata. I just wanted, before we move on to the next question, I wanted to bring up on the screen just a variety of different examples of natural hairstyles here. These are all such great looks. I mean, you got the bun, you've got the braided half knot on the top of the head, which is darling. And you have like a braided outlook where, this young lady she maybe had braids and then just let the braids out. And so this is just some of the things that you can do when you're just using your natural hair, but there's so many options. So it's really, really, there is a variety, even though, and I'll go back to you, Jan, even though I know this was, your original question, right? Like, what do I do with my hair? There really are a lot of options, right? You just have to know, and you have to know how to take care of their. I think the number one takeaway here is the foundation is the health of the hair. As long as you take care of the health of the hair and the health of the scalp, you can do a number of different natural looks. So one of the things I wanted to also highlight is like accessorizing the hair. You know, like if you're struggling with roots, I mean, I've seen great looks where, you know, women have taken scarves and put it on the crown of their head and then let their hair out from the back. What do you think about that, Wanata?
Oh, I think scarves, you can do scarves.
Mm-hmm.
You can do, they have now where they have turbans that
Oh.
you don't even have to, like, you could put it on your head and it has the things and you just wrap it around and you put turbans on and you make your face up and you put on earrings. There's so many different ways. Like you can do half up, half up, half down. You
Yep.
could do it to the side. You could do a bun. Like I love a curly bun. Like just take all my hair up to the top and have it just curly like it was in the photograph that you just displayed. I mean, there's so many things. Like I love scarves, doing scarves. Like I take my designer scarves and I rock those with an outfit and they are awesome. I either, have some of my hair out or I have it all covered up and I'll make a bun out of the remaining part of the scarf. It's very chic.
Very chic. And Jan, have you ever experimented with different kinds of accessories, or what do you think about that?
I think that when I'm going back to your other question about something that doesn't look good on me is if I use a scarf to make like a turban or a head wrap. I don't like that on me, but I have used scarves and do use scarves for headbands. So I may just do it just around the front and tie it and have it, long on the side. I love a bun. I love this product, and I don't know when it came out. Wanata may know, but we used to have styling gel, which flaked, but now they have many manufacturers have products for edges, and so it's not that wet product that will flow. It's a little bit thicker, and so it keeps the hair smooth so that you can pull it up. If you want a neat bun, then some people like messy. I'll put a messy bun up there sometimes. And then that hairstyle you had at the bottom that Wanata was speaking of, once I take my hair out, it's gonna be a whole nother hairstyle, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's 2-strand twist, but when I take it out, it'll be curly like that, and I can pull that up into a bun. But I love headbands, and I love to use a scarf as a headband. But for me, I don't necessarily, or maybe it's just me not knowing how to do it well. I don't like the whole head covered. But again, YouTube has some incredible videos of people.
And you know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that in our chat, and add it so people can look at it and refer to some YouTube videos that really help. I'm also gonna add some links to really stylish turbans that women can invest in, and headbands. I think headbands are a great way to accessorize. So I'll be putting some links in our chat later after the show so that women can refer to that and see if any of that suits them, as well as listing Wanata's toolbox and her hair cabinet tools. But so the next thing I want to talk about is treating hair. And so Wanata, that's your specialty. You've developed a proprietary treatment for hair for those women who choose to relax their hair or flat iron it kind of permanently, right? And I don't want to be using the wrong terms, but you'll be better to speak on that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you can do permanent or temporary,
right?
Straightening.
Yeah.
But I'm a advocate for hair conditioning. I can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
And I also, like, Jan, I want to just go back a minute. When you talked about your scalp being dry, do you drink a lot of water?
I do. But I also noticed that that's a trigger for me if, especially in the winter, because I said I get really dry in the winter, is that I have to remember to, maybe increase my water intake. And I really want to just say that I appreciate the suggestion you gave about the apple cider vinegar. I had
Yeah,
heard that before, but
yeah,
I'm going to definitely try that. And
yeah,
it's just something you can get from the grocery store.
yeah. And I'll tell you how to, the proportions is, so if you do, but apple cider vinegar rinse, you're going
Yes.
to do 2 ounces of apple cider vinegar and 6 ounces of water.
Okay. Because it's
And
so
you're
acidic.
going yeah, so acidic. And you're going
Hmm.
to put it on, and you're going to, put it on and massage it. And you're going to leave it on for 3 minutes,
Okay.
only 3 minutes. And then you're going to rinse and condition. So
That's great.
that's one of my treatments because it takes the residue off the scalp. It's anti-residue, it's antifungal, it's antibacterial, and it also promotes and stimulates hair growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's a great tool.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I do an ionic treatment. It's awesome. You do it once a month. It's in salon. It's not something you can do yourself. You put the conditioner on, the treatment on, and then you iron it into the hair. So the heat causes the cuticle to open so that it really deeply penetrates into the hair. It's more than a topical treatment, and you'd only do it once a month, but you can do at home treatments. There's like I like the Kevin Murphy Hydrate. You can leave it on for, shampoo and then condition, leave it on for 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Most conditioners, deep conditioners, Sheer Moisture has a great deep conditioner. So with the deep conditioners you can do at home, just follow the directions. Don't leave it on for more than the recommended amount of time. And you could do that at home. So
Yeah.
you don't have to go in salon. And like I said, once a month, do an apple cider vinegar rinse.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because
That's
it
a
has
great, yeah,
conditioning properties. It's just awesome.
that's a great do-it-yourself, system that you can use to keep your hair healthy and keep your scalp, devoid of the
Right.
residue. So, Wanata, on the hair straightening treatment that you have, pretty much created in your salon, is there anybody that you would like? Do you recommend people that shouldn't do it, or is it perfect for some people and not others? In terms of, I know you said not for younger children or under that haven't been through puberty, but is anybody who's perfect for that? In other words,
Well, the perfect person is a person that has, healthy, natural, never been treated hair. Like if you
okay,
never had color,
yeah,
and your hair is curly and you want it straight and smooth, you can do it. Anybody can do it. It depends on, not anybody can do it. If your hair is severely damaged, heat damaged, color damaged, then no, I don't strongly recommend it. I recommend that you go into a regimen of treatments to build up the hair, and then you
I see.
can straighten it. But for anybody that's with curly hair and they want straight hair, they don't want to have to do anything to it. It cuts down their blow dry time. Is a candidate.
It's definitely makes life a lot easier.
And
But
there are temporary smoothers that you can do as well.
okay,
You can do the Brazilian blowout, which will take away the frizz. It doesn't make the hair bone straight. It
yeah,
just takes the frizz away, and it
okay,
makes it easier for the style. And in some instances, people use it because it helps really help their curl. So
right,
it takes the frizz away, but they still have their curl. So you
yeah,
can do
so
like a Brazilian blowout or a keratin,
yeah.
or there are many options in that realm.
Yeah, and it defines the curl, so it doesn't take away the curl. It just defines and it takes away a little bit of the frizz. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about color because, of course, another challenge we all had was that a lot of people couldn't go to get their roots covered. Is there a way, that you can do it yourself, cover your gray in between treatments so you don't have to go to the stylist every 2 weeks or something like that? Do you have a recommendation for that? Or what have you done with your clients that haven't been able to get to you?
Well, with my clients that haven't been able to get to me, I did color kits for them.
Yeah.
I would give them, I have their formulation. So I would do the developer in 1 cup and the color in another cup, give them a bowl, a brush, stain remover, cotton, gloves. And all they have to do is just mix the developer and the color together and just apply it to their roots. For Jan spoke of a product when we were in the green room, the Madison Reed. You can do that. If you don't have a stylist that you see on a regular basis for color, you can do the Madison Reed, or you can do L'Oreal. I like L'Oreal's hair color products, so I'll recommend that. But for my clients, I just did color kits for them.
Yeah. So, Jan, did you ever try a color kit from your stylist, or do you just stick to the Madison Reed?
No, when I first started coloring my own hair, I would get the box color from the store, and L'Oreal was the one that I would use too. I found the right color that worked for me, and it was easy to apply. It took well, it lasted well, and so I was happy with that. I felt that it may be a little harsh on my hair, and it could be because I wasn't conditioning, because color is very harsh on your hair. Even if you get a relaxer, sometimes some stylists, and I'm not sure how Wanata feels about this, is that getting the relaxer and the color can be super harsh on the hair. And so sometimes stylists will say one or the other because it's so harsh, or not getting them both at the same time. I've had that be, someone tell me that before as well. But now for me, with the Madison Reed, it's perfect for me. They have the same combination that wanted to just described, with the developer and the color and the gloves and the cap and the shampoo, the conditioner, the even the cream that you put so that it won't get on your
protector.
Yeah, the protector. And it's not that expensive, and you can get it on auto delivery. That really helps me too, that I can get it on auto delivery, because I've said before, my hair grows really fast, and so just not to think about it and have it automatically come to me. Madison Reed should pay me for it.
You need an endorsement check. But I want to say, I want to go back. A lot of people get dryness and damage from color is because they think that every time they color, they need to pull it through to their ends.
Right.
And
exactly.
that creates dryness and damage. So you would need to just focus on the gray. That's it. Don't pull it through, because you will have dryness, damage, breakage. And that's what a lot of people at home that do color at home, that's their biggest mistake.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you for that, Wanata.
Thank you.
Jan, before we wrap up, I just wanted to see, is there any other burning question that you have for Wanata before we do our conclusion?
I don't really have any questions per se. I just really appreciate the conversation around, because I've had friends who've had damage to their hair because of wigs and weaves. And so I appreciate your comments in relationship to that. And my only, if you will allow a suggestion, is that when I'm going to have someone do my hair, I usually stick with the same person once I find someone that's really good, unless, they move or I move. But find someone who does hair that when like, for instance, if I say, "Oh, Christine, I love your hair. Who does your hair?" But I don't have the same texture of hair as you do, or we have different hair, that's probably not the right gauge for me to decide who should be doing my hair. So I may want to look like Beyonce, but if I don't, I mean, I just and not that I do, I'm just saying. And so when I've chosen stylists, I usually look for someone who has hair similar to mine. And if I think that they're doing a good job with their hair, then I'll try it. And so sometimes we can depend on doing stuff ourselves. Like at one point I stopped coloring my hair and I would let the stylist do it until I felt more comfortable with it. And now I know probably that I was pulling the color through to the ends, which I shouldn't have been doing. We're only, focusing on the root.
What a great tip.
This has been a great conversation and I've gotten so much out of it. I almost feel self-indulged, but thank you so much.
Well, I'm glad. I am glad that you feel that way. What an honor for me to be able to, enhance my show by having both of you ladies here. I'm just so thrilled and honored. I really appreciate you agreeing to be here and giving all this great value to our audience. I mean, just referring back to the last words that you gave, Jan, it is true. You do have to find the right fit stylist,
Yeah.
and I think the one thing that trumps everything when you're trying to have a relationship with a stylist or somebody that's going to do a service that's that intimate for you is really having good chemistry, I think, because if you have good chemistry and you sought out somebody that you could trust, then they're going to be really honest with you. If they can't help you, they're not going to touch your hair, right? So even if they might not have the same texture, they still could be very expertly for you. It's just a matter of, do you trust them that they would be, right? But I love the way that you go about trying to find those people that you ask to work on your hair, because I know we're all very protective of our hair. Our hair is our crown, and we it's kind of like our best accessory. So and it's really obvious, right? It's out there. So thank you for those final thoughts. And Wanata, you mentioned you have a special gift for our audience today. Whoever puts the trigger word hashtag texture and shine will get an opportunity for something you're offering them. Can you tell us what that is?
They can call me for a consultation, brief, like 5 to 10 minute conversation if they have questions.
Awesome.
I want to touch on a couple of things that Jan said. The thing about wigs and weaves, if you don't have a set goal to why you're doing this, why you're taking this route with your hair, you will get locked in and you will have no other alternative but to be able to wear a wig or a weave, because you would have damaged your hair so severely that it's no coming back, and you don't like what it looks like. I'm a stickler on keeping it simple. Keep your hair regimen simple. Wash, get oil, condition. I find if you do an oil treatment at least twice a month, and wash and condition and moisturize your hair, it will be shiny. It will be beautiful. I'm over 50. So your body goes through chemical changes. Just read what the changes your body is making and follow that. And just be kind to your hair and give it love, and it'll love you in return.
Absolutely. You care for it. And hair care is self-care, really. I mean, it is part of your body. That I love that you went ahead and started the Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly Wrap-Up by giving us the main takeaway about wigs and really keeping it simple, and the tips and some of the tools I think that were really great that you offered us is really those natural oils, right? Can you give us the top 3 tips that you really want the audience today to walk away from, whether they're listening live or on the replay?
I would say my top 3 tips is to use oil. Give yourself an oil treatment. You can use avocado oil, almond oil, or coconut oil. Just saturate your hair in it, put it under a cap, let it sit on for 10 to 15, 20 minutes. You can use heat or no heat. Shampoo, use an apple cider vinegar rinse once a month to get all the residue from product build up off of your hair and scalp. and deep condition.
Yeah.
I can't stress more for you to condition your hair.
Yep.
Curly natural hair needs moisture. So you want to use products that are hydrating, moisture building, because anything else is going to dry your hair out. Stay away from all alcohols and sulfites.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sulfites are never good for any type of hair.
Mm-mm.
Those are great tips. Thank you for the tools and the avocado oil and really seeking out the hair treatment that's suitable for you. We will have the list of Wanata's hair care cabinet listed in the feed here. And finally, action item number 1, Wanata. What is the one thing somebody can do, like that Jan can do right now, to kind of just self-care for her hair?
She can do braid out or twist out. That's always good. You can do that the night before, and it always gives you a chic look for days. Wear a bonnet because it doesn't smash your hair down, and the pillow doesn't dry it out. I recommend that people with curly hair, and especially if you do styles that you're going to have for you want to wear for a few days, put a bonnet on it, and just let it go. Do different, like Jan said. The beauty about natural hair is you can do so many things with it.
Right.
You can wear it up, you can wear it down, you can wear it out and still have a great look. You just want to make sure your hair looks good and be chic and polished. And the number one thing is be confident.
Be confident.
Because if you're confident, if you're confident and you like the way you look, the world is going to like the way you look.
Absolutely. It's about how outside style really impacts your inside style, impacts your confidence. That is the number one thing. It's the most beautiful thing any woman can sport. I'm actually getting chills right now because I feel so honored to be in your presence. I feel so honored. I learned so much, and I'm just so excited that you were here. And there you have it, Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. These were the takeaways, the tips, the tools, and the action. So go ahead, get sprung into action. Thank you for joining us today, and tune in next week at the same time, same place at 11:30 on the Waist Up Wardrobe Facebook page, because we are going to have another really, really special guest. We are going to be talking a little bit more in depth about color. So we had an episode where I talked about colors that are appropriate for the camera, but we're going to dig deeper. We're going to have a color specialist here on the Waist Up Wardrobe episode next week, and she's going to tell us what colors are perfect for our coloring. She has devised a complete system for people to figure out that on their own, and we're going to be talking to her, so don't miss it. And if you can, ask a friend to join us. See you next time.